Welcome back to our channel. Today is a wild day for soap fans, and we are so ready to dive into the absolute madness that just went down in Genoa City. Grab a coffee or whatever you need because we have a massive amount of drama to unpack right now. The updates are coming in fast, and we cannot wait to share all these shocking details with you. Let's get right into the thick of it. So let's just get right into it because I am still shaking my head at what I just watched. Traci Abbott just broke her silence, and not just a little bit, she completely shattered it. She went off. And it left Diane Jenkins completely stunned, because finally, Traci Abbott could not take it anymore. She just could not stomach another second of it. So she marched right up to Diane Jenkins at the Abbott mansion and confronted her, right to her face, about the absolutely garbage way she has been treating Jack lately. And she did not hold back. She used Diane's own fake death from 2011 to expose her. She ripped the mask right off. Traci Abbott has finally had enough, and honestly it is about time, because somebody had to say it. Somebody had to do what nobody else in Genoa City has had the guts to do for months. But you have to understand how huge this is. Traci walked into that Abbott mansion and looked Diane Jenkins dead in the eye. And she told her the ugly truth. The truth Diane has been running away from ever since she miraculously came back to town in 2022. She faked her death. She let her family suffer. She let an innocent woman take the fall. And now she wants to sit up on her high horse. Now she wants to play the moral authority. It is just wild. Because this is not the Traci we are used to seeing. Not at all. Traci is the legendary peacemaker of the Abbott family. She is the sweet sister, the one who always knows how to smooth things over, the one who always finds the kind words to say, the one who always gives people another chance. But that Traci is gone right now, because that Traci just went through a devastating psychological betrayal of her own, and it changed her. It fundamentally shifted how she views the world and the people in it. And we really need to talk about that trauma, because it explains everything. Traci found out that the man she believed was her fiancé was actually a psychopath, a literal psychopath named Martin. And he was masquerading as his twin brother, just completely messing with her head. Traci was psychologically manipulated. She was lied to. She was emotionally battered by someone she trusted with her whole heart. Her entire reality was twisted, and that changes a person. You do not just bounce back from that and go back to baking cookies and smiling. You don't just forgive and forget when someone plays with your mind like that. So there is absolutely no way she is going to let that same kind of cruelty happen right under her own roof. Not to her brother. Not to Jack. She is done playing the quiet, supportive background character. Traci is on the warpath. So when Traci stops by the Abbott mansion and sees Diane sitting there, just refusing to show even a tiny ounce of compassion for Jack Abbott, after everything Victor Newman and Patty Williams did to him, her whole attitude just shifts. Traci snaps, because Diane is acting like Jack just went out and had a fun weekend fling. But that is not what happened, and Traci knows it. Traci sees Diane acting so cold and so heartless, and it just triggers everything Traci just went through. The injustice of it all. The unfairness of being blamed for something a monster did to you. So she unleashes. She reminds Diane of the fake death. The fake death that Diane wants everyone to just conveniently forget about so she can play the victim. But Traci is not letting her play the victim today. Let's rewind for a second, because Traci made sure Diane remembered every single horrific detail of what she did. Diane Jenkins orchestrated her own fake murder in a Genoa City park back in 2011. And she did it with the help of Deacon Sharp. Remember him, yeah? She used a literal dead body from the morgue. She bribed people in power. She completely vanished. And she left her little boy behind. She left a young Carl Abbott crying his eyes out. She left Jack to mourn a violent, bloody death that never even happened, for over a decade. Just let that sink in. Over 10 years of letting her own kid think she was murdered in the dirt. And she has the nerve to judge Jack right now. It is actually insane when you put it all out there on paper. The sheer audacity of this woman is off the charts. But it gets even worse, because Nikki Newman was framed. Nikki was publicly humiliated and almost sent to prison for a murder that Diane set up herself. This woman literally staged her own homicide. She ruined multiple lives in the process. She caused so much trauma and so much pain to so many people. And now she cannot forgive Jack, because he was kidnapped, because he was drugged, because he was forced into a situation on a yacht by Victor and a deeply disturbed Patty Williams. It makes zero sense. It is the peak of hypocrisy. And Traci is not letting her get away with it anymore. Traci is holding up a giant mirror to Diane's face, and she is forcing her to look at the monster she used to be, the monster she might still be. Because here is the raw truth. Jack Abbott is the victim here. He is not the villain. He is not the cheater Diane is painting him out to be. Jack did not have an affair. He was trapped. He was locked inside a cabin on a yacht. He was knocked unconscious by drugs that Patty gave him, and he was forced into a sexual encounter while he was desperately trying to escape. Patty pumped him full of narcotics. She completely warped his perception of reality. She weaponized his extreme desperation to get off that boat. He had no control. He had no agency. He was violated. And how does his wife react? How does the woman who promised to love him for better or worse handle this massive trauma? So what did Diane do when she saw the aftermath on March 16th? She slapped him. She literally slapped Jack across the face. She refused to listen to a single word he had to say. And she has been punishing him ever since. She packed her bags. She moved out. She moved into the athletic club. And she just shut him out completely. She treats him like he is some kind of monster who threw their vows away on purpose. But he was drugged. He was a victim of a targeted attack by Victor Newman. And Diane just does not care. She only cares about her own bruised ego. She only cares about the image of him and Patty. She refuses to see the context. She refuses to see the pain in her husband's eyes. It is just so incredibly selfish. And that is exactly why Traci sees the parallels. She sees the exact same nightmare she went through with Martin. Both Traci and her brother were stripped of their agency by manipulative monsters. They both had their reality hijacked. They were both victims of psychological warfare. But the difference is huge. Traci chose to fight back. Traci chose to hold the actual abusers accountable. But Diane chooses to punish the wrong person entirely. She is punishing the victim. And Traci is calling it out. She is screaming it from the rooftops. Because it is sickening to watch. It is sickening to see Jack beg for forgiveness for something he did not even consent to. Traci is standing up for her brother because nobody else will. But does Diane actually listen to Traci? Does this confrontation actually serve as a wake-up call for her? Does she finally face her own staggering hypocrisy? Of course not. Because this is Diane Jenkins we are talking about. She might look stunned for a minute. She might flinch when Traci brings up the fake death. But she is not going to change. She is too stubborn. She is too wrapped up in her own victimhood to see anyone else's pain. She told Carl that Traci wasn't wrong. But she still can't forgive Jack. He just can't get the image out of her head. So she just keeps packing her bags. She keeps pushing Jack away. She even slammed the door right in Nikki Newman's face when Nikki tried to help. She is just burning every bridge she has left. She is isolating herself in her anger. And here is the part that is really going to make you sick. Because the spoilers are pointing to something so dark, Diane Jenkins is getting angrier. And she is forming a destructive alliance. With who? With Victor Newman. Yes. Read that again. She is teaming up with Victor Newman, the exact same man who orchestrated Jack's kidnapping in the first place. The man who unleashed Patty Williams on that yacht. The man who ruined her marriage. Diane is going to join forces with him to give Jack a taste of his own medicine. It is just mind-blowing. She is literally getting into bed with the devil who tortured her husband. How do you even justify that in your head? How do you look in the mirror after doing something so evil? So what are they doing? They are going after Jabot. Diane and Victor are executing a hostile takeover of Jabot Cosmetics. Diane is using all her insider knowledge to help Victor strip Jack of his family legacy, the company his father John Abbott built. She is taking it all away from him, because she is that bitter. She is that vengeful. She cannot handle the fact that Jack was a victim, so she is going to make him a victim all over again. But this time, she is the one holding the knife. It is the ultimate betrayal, and it just proves everything Traci was saying. Diane has no moral high ground. She is just as ruthless and selfish as she was back in 2011. She has not grown at all. She is just better at hiding it, until now. And the fallout from this is going to be massive. Jack is already spiraling. He is devastated. He is losing his wife and his company all at once. He is running to Nikki for comfort and trying to pressure her to turn on Victor. Kyle is caught in the middle, watching his mother destroy his father's life work. He is sobbing. He is demanding answers. And Traci is going to have to watch her family crumble because Diane Jenkins decided to go nuclear instead of going to therapy. It is a total disaster. And I am just typing this all out as fast as I can because my head is spinning. The Abbott family is officially broken, and Diane Jenkins is the one holding the hammer. We will just have to wait and see how far Jack falls before he finally fights back. But right now, it is looking really, really bad. So stay tuned because this is far from over. And we cannot forget about Patty Williams in all of this, because Patty is still lurking around Genoa City. She is completely delusional. She actually thinks Jack wants her. She is stalking him. She is pushing him to admit that he was electrified by their night together, that she rocked his world. It is so deeply disturbing. Patty is a wild card. She is unstable. And she is taking full advantage of the fact that Diane walked out. Patty is trying to slide right into Diane's place. And Diane is just letting it happen. By abandoning Jack, Diane is basically handing him over to his abuser. It is so messed up. Jack is fighting off Patty while trying to save his company from his own wife. It is too much for one person to handle. And then there is Victor Newman, just sitting back and watching the chaos unfold. He is so smug. He orchestrated this entire thing. He used Patty as a weapon. He drugged Jack. And now, he is reaping all the rewards. He gets to watch Jack suffer. He gets to take over Jabbit with Diane's help. It is the perfect revenge for whatever slight Victor thinks Jack committed this time. Victor never loses. Even when he does something completely illegal and morally bankrupt like kidnapping a man on a yacht, he somehow comes out on top. And Diane is helping him do it. The betrayal is just so deep. I don't think Jack will ever recover from this. I don't think the Abbott family will ever be the same. Anyway, my fingers are cramping from typing all this. But I had to get it out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I need a nap.